But today, I'll be giving you my top 5 power rankings for this upcoming summer Copa America. Between North America, South America, it being combined, it is going to be a brilliant Copa America this summer. A very, very interesting Copa America this summer between a lot of talented teams, in my opinion, with the U.S. men's national team. Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, Uruguay, Chile, Ecuador, Mexico bringing a young team that I think will be much more deadly than they've shown the last couple of years with this new sort of unknown, this relatively unknown Mexican team. I'm interested to see them. I think they'll be high energy. They'll bring a lot of good to it. Jamaica, they'll bring a lot of talented players. Canada, they're always an option. They're decent. They qualified for the World Cup. They're in turmoil federation-wise, but in terms of the team, they do have talent. You cannot deny that. But today I'm going to be giving you my top 5 Copa America power rankings. And this is going to be surprising. No, it's not going to be surprising. It's going to be obvious. I'm going to go number 5. I'm going to go with the U.S. men's national team that goes in at number 5. I think the U.S. men's national team is one of the most talented generations that we've ever had. We're a very, very talented team. When you look at the likes of Christian Pulisic, Timothy Weah, Yunus Musa, Giovanni Reyna, this is a solid team. Good attacking talent, good midfield with Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie. Defensively with Chris Richards, it's solid back there. Anthony Robinson, good left back. Sergio Dest, he's out for an injury, so a guy like Joe Scally's going to come in. Defensively, they're solid. There's talent in this team, much more talent than previous U.S. men's national team. It's still a young team, but they've gotten World Cup experience. They're getting more experience in there. But my main thing with the problem with them, and I think that will stop them from taking that next level, is their manager. They don't have a manager that makes a team better than the sum of their parts. I don't like Greg Berhalter. I've made that very, very clear. I don't think we've ever won a game that we shouldn't have won. I think every game that we won is a team that we were better than. I think a brilliant manager who performs, takes a team ahead of some teams that have more talent in them, but he can get the best out of them for the sum of their parts that they have. I think we don't have that kind of manager. I think our manager is just bland. And in fact, I think he can be a detriment in his time when it comes to his squad selections, when it comes to his inability to adjust in game, make the right substitutions, to come out with lineups. Whenever we had that disgraceful decision last World Cup against Netherlands to start Jesus Ferreira, who was a joke in the first half before he yanked them out, decisions like that, not bringing on Giovanni Reyna in the World Cup, and then playing him in the last game as a false nine, a position that he's never played in his U.S. men's national team career, is just Greg Berhalter. I'm not a huge fan of him. I think he's not a good manager whatsoever, and I think if the U.S. do want to go on some sort of run at the World Cup, they need to bring in a brilliant manager, and he is very, very, very far from being a brilliant manager. In fact, I consider him a detriment to the U.S. men's national team. Now we move on to the next topic of the next place. I say number 4 is Colombia. Now, Colombia's national team are in brilliant form. They've been unbeaten for a very long time now. They play beautiful, beautiful attacking football. They've been unbeaten for a very long time now. They played very, very well in qualifiers. They had a good international last window, by beating the likes of Romania and a Romanian team that qualified for the Euros, by the way. They beat the likes of Romania and Spain in Europe in very good fashion, the way that they played Spain. They played toe-to-toe with Spain. They have a talent with Luis Diaz, Casillera, Arias, Carrascal. There's team in there. There's Lerma in midfield, Castaño, James Rodriguez. He has experience. He still has his nature, his ability. But this is a team that's very, very fluid, and their star man is indeed Luis Diaz. He gets them their goals. He gets their most of their production. They've been unbeaten so far in CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers with 3 wins and 3 draws. They've been brilliant in qualifiers. So I think that they're going to be a very, very good team at at this summer. Uribe, Barrios, they give you something different in midfield. Davison Sanchez, Cuesta, good center back partnership there. And then since Nestor Lorenzo, Argentine manager, came in, he's got them playing very, very good football. So that's why I have them number 4. Number 3, I'm gonna go with Uruguay. Uruguay is a team with Marcelo Bielsa. They're on the up and come. Marcelo Bielsa, brilliant football. They play a local football, crazy attacking football with flair, high intensity. They get numbers forward up. They play very, very energetic, wide football, high intensity, attack, and then the players that they have at their disposal with a guy like Darwin Nunez, who, despite the chances he missed, he's still a very, very good footballer, and he fits very, very well in his system, in Marcelo Bielsa's system. They got guys like Pelestri with pace that can go in and affect him from behind. They got a very solid midfield of Federico Valverde and Ugarte. Now Ronaldo Araujo, he's also a brilliant center back. Ronaldo Araujo, he's a brilliant center back. He's gonna be very, very important. I'm looking at it right now. He's wanted by Unai Emery and Monchi at Aston Villa. Okay, forget about it. Like, let's be honest, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen, guys. I mean, but he's a very, very brilliant footballer, and they have good talent in this team. They have good experience in this team, so I really think they are gonna be a threat, and they have this kind of this knack for doing well in international competition. Number 2 is Brazil. Now, Brazil, they've really struggled in the World Cup qualifiers. They've lost 3 games, which is a ridiculous amount for Brazil already. They've lost 3 games already in World Cup qualifiers for Brazil, and they've dropped games at home, which is kind of embarrassing. They're 2 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses. It's been a very, very rough World Cup qualifier for them. But a lot of this came under Fernando Diniz, their temporary interim coach. But since they brought in now their manager, Dorval Jr., and they played their first 2 games under him in the international window, and they went on and they beat England in Wembley, and they drew against Spain. 2 pretty good results, 2 pretty good performances, especially when you look at it, the fact that they did it away from home in Europe. Pretty good results, and they got Vinicius and Rodrigo that are high-powering, performing very, very well. Now that there's no Neymar at this World Cup, I think it makes it a little bit more easier for guys like Vinicius and Rodrigo to gel together and to show some of the form that they showed at Real Madrid for Brazil in terms of consistency, in terms of the clinicalness, the clinical nature that they have. Vinicius Jr., let's be honest, he hasn't been good for Brazil. He's never showed up for Brazil, and he needs to start performing for Brazil. They also have a guy like Endrick, who's not going to come in and he's not going to make an immediate impact in this team, but he's a guy that you could look at future for talent. I think a front 3 of Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, and Rafinha is very, very good. And then a midfield of Douglas Luiz, Bruno Guimarães, Lucas Paquetá. That's a decent midfield. João Gomes. And then, now the back line is a little bit shaky. I would probably go with Yan Couto, Gabriel Magalhaes, Marquinhos, and then that other fullback position, I don't know. I don't know. Now, maybe it's a crime not to play Danilo back there because of the experience that he has. But that back line, that is going to be very, very concerning. But I think Brazil, generally, they've always had a solid defense. Not just because of the defense, but their ability to keep the ball and get pressure off the defense. And those defenders also can have a brilliant goalkeeper and Alisson behind them. So they have some protection there. Number 1 has to be the defending champions, Argentina. Lionel Messi in Argentina and the co. This is the last run for guys like Di Maria. Now, Messi, he hasn't said this is his last run, but, there's a chance potentially. Otamendi is another guy. This potentially is probably going to be his last tournament. But this is the Argentina team with many experience from their World Cup team. Emiliano Martinez, Messi, Alexis McAllister, Paredes, Rodrigo De Paul, Di Maria, Lautaro Martinez, and then you bring in a guy like Garnacho who gives you some verticality and can change it up in games. Julian Alvarez, he's a brilliant player too, also has World Cup experience. This Argentina team, they're clearly the favorites, and the question is there much competition for them at this Copa America at this point? They did struggle against Uruguay earlier in World Cup qualifiers. They lost to them at home. But it's clear to everybody that they are the favorites to win Copa America.